Worship is supposed to be our purest and most solemn expression of honor, reverence, and homage and awe towards the living God. Worship is the most important thing that we do in this life and will do in the life to come. It is to be directed exclusively toward the living God and not toward man. That's the very nature of true worship. It turns away from ourselves. It turns away from the things of the world. It turns away from our sorrows and our thoughts and our businesses, and we turn unto the living God. Therefore, much of what we call contemporary worship is quite troubling. And it must be quite troubling to the Lord Jesus Christ, if I may say it that way, as it is more directed towards man's preferences than toward God. People often judge worship by how much their emotions have been massaged, how much uplifted they are in the few hours walking out of the sanctuary, and not by how biblical it is. In my years of having been a pastor, I can show you and tell you example after example of people who visited our various churches, and they would come to us and they would say, "We love this congregation. We love the people. We love what you stand for. We really appreciate the preaching, but boy, your worship just puts us to sleep." And of course, what they mean is that our worship is boring. Our worship is not exciting enough. There is no drum set. There's no praise team. There is no action. There is nothing that would take us off our seats. Because they look at worship as exactly the wrong way. They look at worship as directed towards them instead of them directing their worship towards God. And here they are hopping from church to church because this is like an addiction. First it's only a praise team, and then it has to become a rock concert because the emotions get duller and duller. They seek their edification in the wrong places. They seek their edification in music. They seek their edification in human excitement. They seek their edification in a worldly colored worship, but not in the presence of the living God. They're still takers. They take, and we've talked about this before. If you're a taker, you'll never be happy because you've been made to give yourself for the glory of God and for the good of your neighbor. First of all, those of the household of God. And these takers are never happy. They hop from church to church until they don't go anymore. But the Church of Jesus Christ, beloved, is not a theater. The Church of Jesus Christ is not a circus. The Church of Jesus Christ is not a business seeking to please man. We are not here to provide uplifting rock concerts for people to feel good about themselves. Look at their hymns, if you may even call them that. It's all about telling God how they feel. It's always about them. Every song, every stanza which they repeat 25 times is only about them. Look at the old Psalms. Look at the old hymns by Isaac Watts and others. It's all about you. It's all about God. They want to have it both ways, which is not biblical. We are not here to provide uplifting rock concerts for people to feel good about themselves. We are here to worship the living and true God according to His commands, according to His precepts, and not according to our preferences, whims, and fancies. And then these people call it seeker-sensitive worship. They say this is what man today wants to have. We cannot confront man today with the old biblical worship. And they think they have to become as worldly as they possibly can. But it's folly. It's foolish. They try to be worldly. First of all, they violate God's holiness by not worshiping according to His own precepts. But secondly, if we're trying to be the world, in order to lure in the world, we will not be successful, because in being the world is always better than the church.